Hey everybody, Gary Braun here again with Pivotal Advisors, and today we're going to talk a little bit about bringing people back to work. So we're getting a lot of owners and CEOs and sales leaders asking us, what is everybody else doing when it comes to getting people back in the office? Because we've created this little interesting monster here that people have been working remotely for a while and they kind of like it. So they don't want to come back to work, and do we need them to come back to work? We've even found some people are even more productive there. So what's our rule? Who gets to come back to the office? Who has to come back to the office? Who wants to come back to the office, etc. So some things to consider. Yes, some people like working remote. Their environment might not be conducive to that. So I want to make sure we have steady internet. We're doing a lot of Zoom calls and things today. If we don't have steady internet, that's a problem. Or if email cuts in and out, that's a problem. I want to make sure that they've got the right software at home. If you're using stuff that's only available in the office, they probably need to be in the office. I think about things like, do they have a home office that's quiet without disruptions? Or do we have dogs and cats and kids and everything running around? That's not a conducive workspace. So that's the easy one. Do we have a logistical issue there or not? And if they do, they probably need to be in the office where they can be more productive. But if they don't, let's go to next step, which I think about as collaboration. There's a lot of things that go in the office, a lot of ad hoc meetings where I'm just going to grab you and pull you into a meeting. There's a lot of stuff where we'll get it on a whiteboard and we'll scribble stuff out, and I know there are tools online to do that. Not everybody knows how to use them. Not everybody has those tools. It makes it hard to have that type of a conversation. So if there is a lot of collaboration that goes on all the time, you probably need to be in the office. The bigger one is probably the trust issue. And we see this with a lot of CEOs and owners. It's, I don't know how many times I've heard things like, if I don't see them, they're probably not working, they're probably out golfing or hunting or fishing or whatever. Okay, some of that's true. I see a lot of people on the golf courses these days during these COVID times, by the way, so some of that is absolutely true and it's legitimate. My question to a lot of these CEOs is, if they consistently hit all their revenue goals and all their profit goals and they're adding on new customers and they're doing all these things, do you care if they're remote or in the office? And the large majority of owners will tell me, no, I guess I don't care. Some will still say, yes, I want them in the office. That's a trust issue. You're going to have to deal with that and get over that. That's not the way our economy is going. Our economy is going more towards remote management. You could actually lose people if you have that strict of guidelines. But it's something that you need to consider. And again, if they're hitting their goals, let them work remote as long as they're doing that. So what do you do if you're going to let somebody work remote? There's a few things that I think about. One, let's get really clear on our rules of engagement. So what are your expectations? When should they be at their desk? When should they be quitting at the end of the day? How should you be able to get a hold of them? Let's be really clear on what your expectations are of them if they're going to be working remotely. Paired with that very tightly is tighter management. So if they're going to be working remotely and we have a little bit of a trust issue, a couple of easy things you can do is, at the start of each week, set a plan, set a goal. Here's the 3, 4, 5 things you need to get done this week. Here's how many calls you need to make, how many opportunities you should be getting, et cetera, et cetera. And they have a plan and they have goals, and we both agree on what that's going to be. Now, if they execute it consistently, cool, let them work remote. If they're doing what they need to do, let them work remote. If they're not, that's a different issue. And now we get into a problem where, why does this person get to work at home and this person doesn't get to work at home? Well, they're hitting their goals. They've earned that privilege. They've earned that right to work at home. Again, be clear on your goals and your plan and execute it. And you got to follow up on it. If you have a plan and you write it down and you both agree, when we get together next week, the very first thing that you should do is say, how did we do on our plan? Did we meet our goals? Did we execute that? If they're doing it consistently, let them. If they're not, you know what, we should come back to the office. Here's another one. Test the waters. Somebody says, boss, I really want to work at home. I think this can work. Set a time frame. Let's do it for 30 days and see how it works. This is not a yes. This is not a no. This is a make them prove it to you type of an approach. Make them hit the goals, hit everything they're supposed to, and say, you have to earn this right. We'll see how it works. If it doesn't, if there's issues, here's what I'm looking for you to do. If I'm running into these types of things, it's not going to work. Let's test the waters and see how it works. But set a time frame. And at the end of that time frame, evaluate whether it was working better or worse than when they were in the office. And then the last one I think about is, it's not an all or nothing thing. There might be mandatory office days. You might say, you know what, we're going to try this out for a while. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you're in the office. Tuesdays and Thursdays, work remotely if you'd like to. And again, we're going to measure our progress. We're going to evaluate our effectiveness and see if it works. Like, this is not an all or nothing type of a thing, but it's something that you can try out and see what works. Again, I'll go back to something I said earlier. Some people are just darn more effective at home. They get at home in a quiet environment, not a lot of distractions. They can plow through all their customers and do all kinds of things really effectively, and even be more effective than if they're there. So you're going to have to treat each situation a little bit differently. The big thing is expectations, a plan, and good management and good follow-up. So those are just a few ideas. Be clear, have a plan. And the last thing I'll say is explain why in your decision making. The old days of mom and dad saying, do this because I said so, because I'm your mom, that doesn't work at the office anymore. If you say we're going to bring people back into the office, that's what I said, that's kind of like mom or dad saying because I said so. Say we're coming in because what? We want more collaboration, we want more people working together, we're going to be doing a lot of things that have this environment, whatever. Explain your thinking, or even remotely. I'm going to let you work remote, this is what I'm thinking. You can still do all of these things. I'm going to check, but explain your why. Explain the rationale in your thinking. A few tips. I know these questions are coming up all the time. If you want to learn more about us and what we do at Pivotal Advisors, go to our website, pivotalitadvisors.com. Go to our YouTube channel. We got all kinds of cool videos like this out there. Follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, all the usual channels. But we would love to hear from you. If you'd like to have a discussion, please give us a call. And hopefully we talk to you soon.